Verse 28. Do not marvel at this, for an hour is coming when all who are in the tombs will hear his voice. 29. And come out, those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of judgment. Okay, right. I mean, I can't say anything, everything. No, sorry, I say a lot, but I can't say everything what's in these verses. It's impossible. Okay, if I do it, then I'll just be stuck on this verse till the end of this evening. We still need to drive to KL and etc. today, and it's about the 3 or whatever hour drive. Okay, so it's just impossible. It's humanly impossible, and there's just too much. The depth of the Word of God is just too deep, so I can't say everything. Okay, but there are 2 things. I mean, Son of God. I haven't said anything about that. The Son, it's not Son of God. The Son of God. Jesus calls himself because he's the Son of Man. Okay, so he's Son of God and he's the Son of Man. Jesus loved in general to speak of himself as the Son of Man. Okay, others didn't speak of Jesus so much as the Son of Man, seldom. Jesus spoke very often about that he called himself the Son of Man. Why? It is because it comes from Daniel. Well, it's actually mentioned in Psalms as well, but focus on Daniel. I remember when I taught this and I asked this question 4 or 5 years ago there in Yangon during a teaching in Yuzana, and there's one brother. I asked him, so why did Jesus call himself the Son of Man? They didn't know, and I said, well, we know because it's in Daniel. So did you ever study Daniel? I said, yes, we did, but all we studied was the 70 weeks of Daniel, right? So the important parts of Daniel, seemingly they didn't study, but the science things they part study. Yeah, right, okay. Anyhow, we'll get to Daniel. And so the Son of Man, comes from Daniel, the one like the Son of Man coming to the Ancient of Days. That is the important part, and that is why Jesus speaks of himself as the Son of Man, because he puts himself already back to that one appearing to Daniel there, to the Ancient of Days, okay? And this is connection going to see in Revelation chapter 1 as well. So that's important. So that is why Jesus spoke of himself. So he was not downplaying, oh, I'm just a man. Okay, he was just a man, but at the same time it was God as well. So he's not downplaying again the fact that he is God, okay, by calling himself Son of Man. This is a reference back to what happened, what's written there in the book of Daniel. Okay, that's an important point to make. Okay, so yeah, the other thing, just let me open this up again. Okay, this. The hearing, okay, and hearing coming out of the tombs. Now we know at the death of Jesus, the tombs opened and those came out. We actually read very little about this. Okay, so there is a start of a fulfillment of it, but it's a lot greater because this continues. The hearing of his voice. You're in a tomb. Okay, that's you're in a tomb. Okay. You're not saying you are in the spa, lying in your bed, half asleep, or kind of, right? Or you're drowning and now you're still alive, kind of, you can hear him. No, you're in a tomb. Like Lazarus is going to be in tomb 4 days. That's 4 days, sorry. We'll get to Lazarus as well. You're dead, right? You're dead. So how can a dead person hear? Chapter 3, the Spirit needs to make him alive, give him a new life so they can hear, okay? So they will hear. Why? Because first they need to be made alive. I mean, logic 101. Okay, a dead person can't hear. Okay, so if you are not waken up from the dead or some other way, something done to you, you can't do it to yourself. You're dead. Okay, so you hear his voice, you come out, and ultimately, those who, because God will resurrect you. Okay, so this is well pointed towards at the end, at the final resurrection, when all will be made alive because of God, right? But here as well is it's not to focus so much as on the salvation, non-salvation. Salvation part is here those who did good deeds. So all will be made alive, right, and then be judged, like Jesus is kind of doing here, but no more concerning what they're saying about him, okay? So he can judge on that because he knows who he is, right? He's not speaking of the final judgment. Here he's speaking of the final judgment, ultimately the good deeds. So as we've done good deeds, well you know, but the question is, and so how do we do the good deeds? Okay, we will learn further in John. We can't do good deeds from ourselves. We don't do good deeds. The good deeds we do is the deeds that God prepared for us to do. Not us to for ourselves to do, but God prepared for us to do. Okay, that's just so simple. So you can't do good deeds if the good deeds you're doing does not come from God. And he's going to go on later on in John about that how you're in the vine. You can't do good deeds if you're not in the vine. Okay, so the only way you can do good deeds if you're born again. Right? So again, this is not the question that's discussed here. Here he's speaking ultimately of judgment. Okay, so they're judging him, but he is the one who ultimately will judge when he comes back. And that is a point he's trying to make. So therefore he's not speaking here per se of salvation, right? The whole idea of how salvation works, because he already explained it. Now I'm not going to repeat myself here.